Okay, hello everyone. It's my first time presenting here at PES, so I'm really grateful to be here. Today I'm going to present my paper working on personal data flows and privacy policy traceability in third-party LLM apps in the GPT ecosystem. This is a joint collaboration with my colleagues José Luis Mantin Navarro and Rongjun and my supervisor José Sud. Well, let's start with some context. For those of you who doesn't know what a custom GPT is, it's basically a ChatGPT custom version that you can create for a specific purpose. So anyone can easily build their own GPT without no coding ability. Let's focus with the architecture of a custom GPT. So you can provide like a system prompt that defines the behavior of that LLM app. You can provide some files so that the response of that model had the context in the response. And what is more interesting is that you can connect this LLM app or custom GPT to an external party. So the model interprets when should call that API when you provide, when the developer provides like a JSON schema that basically defines the endpoint that the model should call, which parameter from that conversation should retrieve, and that's it. So to understand the size of this problem, by January 2024, over 3 million GPTs have been created, and these GPTs attract approximately 6.1 million visits per month. And as you can see in the slide, there are 13 examples that can catch your attention, like find my celebrity lookalike. So you would like your photo, and this photo is sent to an external party. Or for instance, this resume that you can provide your career information and assigns a personalized response for you. Okay. So if we focus on the literature, there are GPTs that are vulnerable to threats, and there are malicious GPTs that are created. But this is not the focus of our work. What we are trying to answer is what personal data do GPTs transmit to third parties, and if their privacy policies actually disclose it. There is something interesting to know, is that when you are creating this custom GPT, OpenAI says that you have to provide a privacy policy that defines how you are going to manage the data, and how basically you have to provide a privacy policy. Okay, so our main research problem can be divided into two main questions. What personal information is being transmitted through this custom GPT to an external party, and if their privacy policies reflect what is sent. Let's focus on the first problem, which is identifying personal information transmitted by GPTs to external services. Oops, sorry. And I'm going to explain how I solve it. If we focus on the data collection, we crawl over 340,000 GPTs, and we filter down to those that has an action, so they are able to send data to an external party. And we have 5,286 GPTs. And as I have said, each GPT has its JSON schema that basically defines where the data is sent, the data type, and a data description that lets the model interpret what needs to send to an external party. And we face also one problem, that there were no personal information taxonomy adapted to the conversational context for us to being able to classify all these parameters. So we created our own taxonomy grounded in NIST and GDPR guidelines, and obtained 83 labels to classify or to train our model and be able to classify. And we also annotated over 700 cases And I want to mention also here that is relevant, or at least for me, that I spent like 6 months trying to make it work, this classification with large language models, because large language models are like magic. But what I realized is that using a small language model like Roberta and fine-tune it with all the data that we annotated, achieves a macro F1 of 87% compared to GPT-4o that has like 61%. Okay, what we found from this methodology is that 35% of all the API parameters expose personal data. You can check in the paper how many of those are classified into each label. And we actually audit replicating our own GPTs. And as you can see, there is a user putting these tests in a prompt. And the JSON schema here, there has one API parameter that says original test, and the description of that API parameter is please provide the original request, only containing user input that trigger the API call. And the developer put, okay, if the test contains sensitive user data, such as names, redundant as, okay. And we verify that what the JSON schema says is actually sent to the external party. Okay. Well, let's focus on the second part of our second research question, which is the traceability analysis. And what we did is we have its unique privacy policy regarding each GPT, and we use a natural language processing tool called Polygraph that basically what it does is extract the collection statements from its privacy policy, and we use an LLM to map its collection statement to our personal information topology. And we classify into 3 main classes: complete if all the collected data are disclosed. So basically, what is sent is disclosed in the privacy policy. If only some data are disclosed, or too vague information, too vague language, like we collect personal information, we classify as partial. And if broken, if no policy or broken link, or so what we found is that 15% of the GPTs have complete traceability, 42.7 has partial, and 42.3 has broken. And why? Well, maybe because creators assume that OpenAI automatically sanitizes user data, as we have said in this active audit example, or because we found that there are over-reliance in generated policy generators. Okay, to sum up, 35% of API parameters expose personal data, 85% of GPTs fail to fully disclose the data practices, and 44% of creators have entirely broken policies. We also provide some implications and recommendations for different stakeholders in the paper. For platforms, we recommend strict validation checks of the privacy policies when the GPT is being created. For users, pre-execution of data previews so that the user is informed to what data is sent to this external server. And for creators, educational resource on data handling responsibilities. Okay, so that's all. Thank you for your time, and please ask me wherever you want in the poster session. Thanks.